All right. We're talking about objects in space. Your note sheet should match this one perfectly, and you should have it, and that's what you should be working off of. I'm going to show you bit by bit. I don't have slides this time. I just have my own copy of the sheet. Don't take your time coloring it until after you finish the module because I want us to stay on pace. So, objects in space. We're talking about a few today. So, first off, comets. So, this is a comet. Comets often have a tail. Okay, see, we're going to draw a comet by having a long tail on it. And comets are made of dust, rock, and frozen water. Ice. So we could call a comet a dirty snowball, okay? It's not pure ice, but it's icy, okay? And that's part of why it has that trail of stuff coming off of it. Comets are orbiting around the sun in an elliptical orbit, just like the planets are. So the planets are going around the sun, and they're not making a perfect circle. They're making kind of an oval-y shape, and so are comets. So remember that, hopefully from previous years, an orbit is a path that stays pretty much the same. So every year, the Earth goes around the sun in pretty much the same way. However long its orbit is, a comet goes around the sun. It may be a different length than an Earth year, it usually is, but those comets are going around. You might know some comet, like Halley's Comet, things like that we see every so often because that's their orbit, okay? Okay, I'm going to move over to meteors. So, meteor is going to be a general word, but we need to know the differences between these. Meteoroid is in space, meteor is in the atmosphere, meteorite is touched Earth's surface, okay? So, I'm going to read this to help you. A space rock is given its name based off its location. A meteoroid is a space rock that is still in space. It has pieces of dust and rock from a comet or an asteroid. So it broke off something bigger, and the point is that a meteor is not in an orbit. It's flying on some path, possibly, randomly not related to the orbits, okay? A meteor is a meteoroid that burns up in Earth's atmosphere. So the gases around Earth, because once you get high enough, you'll leave the atmosphere and you'll go to space, right? So once a meteor gets into the atmosphere, a meteoroid, gets into the atmosphere, it becomes a meteor, okay? Now, we could call it a shooting star. When you see a shooting star, that's a meteor burning up. Okay, it's again made of dust and rock. I want you to understand that meteors burn up in the atmosphere because the air is stuff. Let me explain. So if you rub your hands together really fast, they will get warm pretty soon. That's because of friction. When two things rub together, they generate heat, okay? It might seem like the air is nothing, but it's not nothing, because if you were somewhere with nothing, you wouldn't be able to breathe. If you wave your hand through the air, you can feel the air move. The air is something. It's just very light, right? It's see-through, but it's something. And so between the meteor and the atmosphere, there is the same friction that there is between your two hands, and it generates heat. That's why it burns up, okay? A meteorite is that meteor once it hits the ground. Once it hits the Earth, well, it may not be ground, it may be the ocean. But even if it hits the ocean, now it's a meteorite. Okay, again, it's made of dust and rock because they're all essentially the same thing at different phases in their journey. Not all meteoroids will end up in Earth's atmosphere. Plenty of meteoroids are just out in the galaxy. But the ones that do come here will become a meteor and then a meteorite if they make it all the way down. A lot of meteors burn all the way up before they can make it down and never become a meteorite. Okay, now an asteroid, again, orbits the sun. There's a lot in what we call the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. So there's like a whole ring of asteroids in our solar system. They are made of rock similar to the planets, okay? So this is more of like a solid rock. Whereas we saw, if I go back over, that we called the comet like a dirty snowball, right? It's icy, it's dust and rock kind of smushed together. An asteroid is almost like a chunk of rock that broke off of a planet or something like that. It's a more solid, larger piece that is also in an orbit. Again, we have these in asteroid belts, okay? And yeah, they're made of rock similar to the planets. I said that. So this is your asteroid. So if I zoom out, hopefully you filled all of this in as we worked, okay? Like I said, we're not going to color yet. We're going to color later when you see if you have enough time. But these are your big terms and differences to know. So if I say something burning up in the atmosphere, you need to know it's a meteor. If I say a dirty snowball, an icy rock that's orbiting the sun, you're going to say comet. If I say a big rock that's orbiting the sun, but it's not icy, it's in the belt, you're going to say an asteroid. You need to learn these. If it has a tail, it's a comet. Okay? All right. So that being said, I think that's all I have to say about this. Make sure that this gets safely in your binder. Thank you.